All right. Hey, Alan, how are you today?
Hey, Anthony, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just wanted to give you another quick call this week and just basically ask you a question that's been on my mind. I really wanted to hear your thoughts basically on the body, the human body, and what your thoughts are, whether it be, health and sickness, disease, and just the body in general.
Yeah, okay. So the body has all these issues that show up. We catch colds,
Yeah,
we hurt ourselves, on and on and on.
right.
And people are always asking why, and they're always looking for the right medicine and all those things. And those are valuable things to do. But if you unwind the emotional content that each issue provides for you,
Hmm.
what happens is the body heals faster because it's less internal conflict.
Hmm.
According to the American Medical Association, for what
Hmm.
that's worth, 70% of all disease is stress related.
Hmm.
And I think it's closer to 95%, but that's I'm prejudiced, right? So the whole point here is that as we process our feelings, as we allow ourselves to go into our feelings and let them unwind,
Hmm.
the body is under less stress.
Hmm.
So you tend to be more healthy, period. Also, a lot of so called accidents that happen to us
Hmm.
um, happen because inside there's internal conflict. So we look for a physical thing to go wrong to somehow balance that internal conflict.
Hmm.
And it seems really odd that we would want to make ourselves sick in order to feel correct about something.
Hmm.
But maybe you scraped a car when you were backing out of a parking lot,
Hmm.
and you know it wasn't bad, and you hardly noticed it, but you know in your heart that you should have just left a note, right? But
Hmm.
you didn't. You left,
Hmm.
and you just stew about that over and over and over. Well, with the Wonder Method, what we do is we'd process it. We'd probably end up going back and writing the note,
Hmm.
or if we couldn't, we would keep processing and wonder what it might be about, allowing ourselves to open to a correct result for this person and
Hmm.
the like. And somehow it would work out.
Right.
It's so weird, but it does happen that way. It's like
Hmm.
it's comes out of left field.
Hmm.
But the whole point here is when you did that, you drove around like an idiot, upset about stuff, and you get pulled over for a ticket or whatever.
Hmm.
And you say, okay, now I feel like karma is balanced.
Right.
And really what you've done is you've assuaged or you've made more comfortable the interior view that you did something wrong, and so now something's wrong to happen to you, and that feels better.
Wow.
It's not any better, but it
Right.
is the way we react.
Right.
And so that happens with health too. We're in a situation, maybe you've got to go in for a procedure that is minor, but you really are afraid of doing so. So you'll catch a cold, and you can't go in when you have a cold.
Hmm.
And then this happened to me when I was a kid. I was supposed to get my teeth fluoridated,
Right.
and back then I looked in a magazine on fluoridation. They showed these people these black teeth that had all these terrible
Ah.
things happen to their mouth,
Mm.
and I was supposed to start this course of treatment. And every time I'd go, I was slated to go in and do it. I had a cold, or I had tonsillitis,
Mm.
or I'd caught the flu. And then the next time, my parents didn't tell me I was getting my teeth fluoridated. I stayed healthy until I went in and had it done. Had my teeth fluoridated, it was no big deal.
Mm.
But the fear created a way to escape having to have the illness.
Right.
And this kind of thing is happening to us all the time.
Hmm.
The bigger deals like cancer
Hmm.
and Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all this stuff, well,
Hmm.
those are more gradual. There's little things that build up over time.
Hmm.
And so it's not as obvious that it's happening to us from inner conflict, but it really is happening to us from inner conflict.
Wow. So something you really mentioned that I really haven't heard anybody break it down like that. So in its pure sense, you mentioned kind of a lot of people think about karma. Oh God, karma's got me. You see, you kind of broke down karma of what it actually is.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
just
if you
internal fear.
You're right. So if you hit somebody's car, you're gonna get somebody to hit your car. That's karma. Everybody, not everybody, a lot of
or a
people.
ticket, or you'll fall down when you get out of the car, or
Yeah.
something.
So what is that really? That's really just their internal
That's
conflict.
that's right.
If they process the emotion, yeah, they didn't go back and leave their note, but they don't have to necessarily. They may
No,
process and the best possible outcome will happen, is
that's
what
right.
happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you may just decide, oh, I know what the car looks like.
Yeah,
I'll go back to the beach or wherever it happened and write a note.
right. Or you may not even have to do that. You may just, whatever will happen,
Yeah.
whatever it may
No,
be.
no, you don't. I'm just saying, if that was what feels the most right,
Yeah,
somehow you'll connect up.
you'll connect up. Yeah, well, see, a lot of people have their view on karma, but really it's just another belief system, taking it to another reason, another deeper level.
Absolutely. Karma is okay. A lot of that kind of thing is designed to control a population.
Wow.
So the powers that be, or the leaders in an area, or the religious viewpoints of
Hmm.
people, they will put things in there to control the population through guilt.
Right. Even if they're not directly controlling them, say they read it in a book or see it on
Sure.
somewhere, it's just
And
another
it's
way.
so insidious.
Right.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. You don't realize it's happening to you, and all of a sudden you're stuck in it. You say,
Right.
what's going on? And the mind will turn it over and over and over, and so you get stuck in that drama.
Yeah.
But if you allow yourself to feel, at least in the way we feel, not
Hmm. Yeah, not the typical way.
yeah, not the typical way, you unwind all these inner conflicts, and understanding is just there. It's not like you have to understand from a micromanaging place or
Yes.
anything. It's just understanding occurs.
Right.
You just know, and
Right.
it feels so right.
Right.
There's no doubt in your mind that this was the crux of the situation, but that only happens in a need to know kind of reality.
Right.
So it's quite liberating to
Right.
realize that all this stuff is really just somebody else's mind is thought up, and
And the solution
yeah,
itself, sometimes when people think, oh, this is the way to get there, really it doesn't have to just be that way. It's about just unwinding. Even like you said, I mean, do you have any story, like a quick story about a health problem that you've seen kind of resolve or any
okay,
specific?
well, this gal had cancer on, just right at the neckline there.
Yeah.
She had a skin cancer.
Mm.
And her doctor saw it and they removed it, but they wanted to radiate it and everything around the area, the tissue around it,
Hmm.
because there was suspect cells there.
Hmm.
And the gal didn't want to do that. And I says, well, process how it makes you feel that you have these suspect cells.
Hmm.
And she did that. And we did like a half an hour private session together. And then she did it on her own.
Hmm.
And when she went in to get it rechecked before they were going to do the radiation, the doctor says there's nothing there.
Hmm.
She'd never
Yeah.
seen that happen.
There you go.
So that's
Wow.
a big deal kind of thing. But there's
Right.
all kinds of small stuff
And
that
that happened
happens
very
all the time.
rapidly. What's your,
Oh, it was over a week.
yeah,
Yeah.
now what's your view? Here's another thing to do with the body. Broken bones generally take this amount of weeks to heal. Now,
Yeah.
what would, I mean, when we feel and wonder what it might be about, can that actually speed it up or can that
It
do
actually
anything?
can speed it up. You'll find
Right.
it can often shorten it by 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe faster. Those are one of my limitations, perhaps. My
Right.
view that it can only be doubled, but other people it might be more. We're all operating from where we start, if you will. In other
Hmm.
words, we came into life, we did all this stuff, and then we find out that we can affect things.
Right.
So if you're 10 years old, you've got not near as big a backlot as if you're 60 years old, right?
Right. Right.
So you just open and open and open, and then things happen.
So,
There's a guy I know that had the end of his little finger cut off,
yeah.
and he was like 12,
Right.
13 years old.
Hmm.
And he says, oh, well, it's like a tooth, it falls out and it grows back. So he started believing it would grow back.
Yeah.
And the finger tip started to regenerate,
Oh.
and the nail is reforming and everything. And then his dad said, that's not possible. and that's where it stopped.
Oh, you believe that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the authority figure.
Right. Now, if he wanted to continue growing,
He would
how
unwind his beliefs that
that
have
he took
been
on?
put forward by his dad, and
Yeah.
then we have a positive statement and a way to feel through that,
Hmm.
and yeah, very probably it would continue to grow
Now,
and
if he was in a
regenerate.
state like yourself, when somebody told you, Alan, hey, it won't grow back, and you heard an authority figure tell that to you, would that affect you, or how could that not affect somebody?
Well, yeah, you have an impact,
Yeah.
but you feel the feelings around that, and you start to unwind them. And you realize that the only reason the person says that is because it's his belief system or her belief system.
Oh, but
That's the
within
way they were
yourself,
brought up.
how about within yourself, somewhere in your subconscious that you brought on for somebody to even say that to you? Is that a possibility?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely. You created somebody to reinforce the beliefs that are already there
Right.
so that your world feels safe within this narrow corridor.
Right. Or even bring them in your world to say, oh no, it can't grow anymore, for you to unwind it because maybe you don't want to
That's
hold
right.
on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so what happens, we find this, you'll bring the perfect experience into your life to show where you're holding or stuck.
Right.
It seems like it's crap,
Right.
but really it's just to show you, oh, if you're willing to go into your feelings, this too can change.
Right. So yeah, that may stop the kid for a second from growing his finger back, but if he were to unwind and feel it, that'd just be a little doubt that he unwinded in himself, and it would continue going to where it wanted to
Yeah.
go. Wow.
Yeah. And it's weird because the finger looks totally normal, except this joint here is like half the length.
Wow.
This piece of the little finger.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things you hear with the body that there's certain tribes of people that I heard that they believe so strong that if they get bit by a snake, it can't affect their blood because
Right.
they believe it so strong that, hey, no, this
Yeah.
doesn't affect our tribe, right? And that has
That's
to do
right.
with their belief system. Wow.
There you go. There's a there's a group of women in a small village.
Hmm.
I don't remember the name of the village anymore,
Hmm.
but in that village, women are the best runners.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And older women
Hmm.
have more ability to do long distance running than any of the younger women. In
Wow.
fact, they say you don't hit your stride until you're 50.
See, that's total opposite to our Western world.
That's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, the younger women might have a better sprint,
Yeah.
but they don't have the stamina. And and they'll run for forever, being able to
Because they believe when reality here,
that's the belief system.
yeah,
Yeah,
in
and
our
ours is the other way
reality,
around.
yeah, we think younger, oh, as you get to 50, you can't run that long, is what they think here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these women, there were women running in their 70s and 80s fabulously.
Wow. Well, if
Yeah,
that, I mean, there's so many stories like that and direct experiences. I know you have way more than that, but it's just it's crazy when it's not hard. I mean, I just feel the emotions. Do you have
yeah.
anything else I mean, any closing, anything else that you'd want to say on basically the
Well,
physical
I would
body?
say feel.
Right.
Feeling is safe. It is really the only safety if you want to give it an absolute.
Yeah.
Because soon as you do, you realize like you're reclaiming parts of yourself that you've shunted away or pushed away.
Hmm.
And because of that, you have all this integrity in a sense of extreme center and presence. It's really cool.
Wow. All right. Well, I appreciate, I mean, that really clarified my question I had for you this week. Thank you again, Alan. Until next week.
Thank you, Anthony.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.